So there is no certain number of miles to make leasing work. My wife drives 4,000 to 5,000 miles a year, and she's still leased. Leasing best serves customers suffering from negative equity. Well, they serve customers with negative equity, but it's not just for customers with negative equity. Do we know what negative equity is?
Yes.
Cynthia, what's negative equity?
So technically it's like, let's say you own 20K on your car, they buy it for 12, 8 will roll over to the new vehicle.
So I trade my car, it's worth 12, I owe 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm suffering from $8,000 worth of negative equity. Good. Leasing is only a remedy for a customer who can't afford the purchase payment. In Atlanta, Georgia, it's a terrible, terrible, terrible lease market. Okay? In most cases, if leasing is ever brought up, it's to help a customer or it's to try to get a customer who can't afford the purchase payment, which is not the right way to do it. Next page. Consumers would rather purchase than lease. Some would. Most don't understand leasing. The customer owns nothing if he or she decides to lease. Is that true?
No.
What do they own?
Their car, if they want to buy it.
No, but I'm signing my lease contract. Okay? 36 months go by. Now what do I own? Oh, I own something, believe me.
Equity.
No, you'll learn. The customer who leases at 36 months owns a lot more than the customer who purchases for 72 months. At the end of 36 months, they're both in very different positions, and it's the lease person who's in the best position. Leasing is expensive, more expensive than purchasing, only in some cases. Purchasing a vehicle provides the customer ownership. Is that true?
No, not really.
If they pay cash for it, they own it. If they don't pay cash for it, who owns it?
The bank.
The bank. The residual must be high and the money factor low for a vehicle to make leasing worthwhile. I hear that everywhere I go. Well, the lease factors just aren't good. Our residuals suck. It's got something to do with it, but it just does not preclude the vehicle being highly leasable. If a customer is going to purchase the car at the end of the lease, it's better to just finance it from the beginning. No. Insurance premiums are higher for leased vehicles. They were in the 1970s. Okay, they haven't been since the 1970s, but people still think that. The penalties at lease turn-in make leasing even more expensive. Do any of you know what the dollar amount of damage forgiveness a VW lease offers the customer? Ames, do you?
I believe it's up to $2,500.
$10,000. That means first of all, I was shocked. I mean, they read it to me this morning at the other
Really?
Volkswagen. They read it from the. Did you know that? No. I didn't either. I leased a car for my daughter. Leased a Lexus for her a number of years ago, and she hit everybody in Atlanta. When I turned it in, I just waited for the phone call. I waited for the email. I waited for the bill to come. And it never came. And I knew the people at the store because I worked there. I did business with them. So next time I was there, I said, "Hey, don't I owe you guys something for the damage to the Lexus that my daughter turned in?" They went, "No, it was just under $3,000, and that's the $3,000 is what Lexus forgives. Honda forgives, I think, $1,500, but Volkswagen." $10,000. If there was one reason, and one reason only to lease a Volkswagen, that would be it. Dings, dents, tires, windshield crack, none of that would matter. Hell, you could have a head-on collision at low speed, and it still wouldn't matter. All right. Why is leasing popular in some parts of the country, and yet other parts it's seldom used as a sales tool? Just as a last-ditch effort to overcome a payment objection. Atlanta sucks as a lease market. I don't think Dallas is a very good one either. The Volkswagen store I work with in California leases 85% of their Volkswagens. The Volkswagen store in St. Louis leases about 60%, a little over 60% of their Volkswagens. And I'm going to bet you the stores in the Volkswagen stores in Atlanta do about 10 or 15 or 20%. In the Northeast, Ford stores do 85% leasing. Honda stores do 90% leasing. In some areas, leasing is embraced. In other areas, it's not. And I think it's more likely just because of education of both salespeople and customers. All right.